Hi everyone, Gary here again from English 365, and today we're going to be using the simple past to describe the key events from World War I, also known as the Great War. How it started. The First World War, also known as World War I, commenced on July 28, 1914, and lasted until November the 11th, 1918. It was a global war that involved most of the world's nations, including all of the great powers, organized into two opposing alliances, the Allies and the Central Powers. So we're going to talk about 10 key events. Here are 10 key events that led to the start of the war and its progression. The Great War lasted over 4 years, around 4 years and 4 months, and over 30 nations declared war between 1914 and 1918. On June the 28th, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a member of the Yugoslav nationalist group. This event was the spark, chispa, that ignited the war. Started the war, caused the war, sparked the war. The assassination of the Archduke was planned and carried out by a group of Bosnian Serb nationalists who were unhappy with Austro-Hungarian rule in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So assassinated, killed, gunned down, murdered, shot, executed. One of the leading poets, one of the most well-known World War I poets, was killed in action at the age of 25, Wilfred Owen, just 1 week before the armistice. Owen only published 5 poems during his lifetime. His poems were published in the 60s, but at the time of his death, he had only published 5 poems. So the assassination in Sarajevo took place during the Archduke's official visit to Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Gavrilo Princip, a member of the group, shot and killed both the Archduke and his wife Sophie as their car traversed through the streets of Sarajevo. Once the war started, many young men pretended. They faked their age in order to sign up early. During the war, explosions in France were often heard in London. Austria-Hungary, with the backing of Germany, decided to take action against Serbia, who they believed was behind the assassination. Russia, an ally of Serbia, mobilized its army in response. Austria-Hungary saw the assassination as an opportunity to assert its dominance over Serbia and the Balkan region in general. It prepared an ultimatum to Serbia, demanding that they take responsibility for the assassination and cooperate in an investigation. Serbia accepted most of the ultimatum, but denied, refused, shunned the demand for an investigation by Austria-Hungary. Germany invaded France through neutral Belgium in the west and confronted Russia in the east. So they invaded, besieged, stormed, confronted, faced, attacked. Austria-Hungary, as a result, announced, confirmed war on Serbia on July the 28th, 1914. Russia, who had a defense agreement with Serbia, mobilized its army, moved its army, called up its army, readied its army, prepared its army in response to Austria-Hungary's declaration of war. And this move was seen as a threat by Germany, which then declared war on Russia on August the 1st, 1914. In 1915, mustard gas was released by German troops. The severe effect that chemical weapons such as mustard gas had on soldiers and civilians during World War I galvanized, impelled, caused, resulted in the public, hardened public opinion, and military attitudes against their continued use. So the mustard gas galvanized public and military attitudes against their continued use. On August the 4th, 1914, Germany declared war on Russia and France. Germany then invaded Belgium, which prompted, caused, encouraged, urged Britain to declare war on Germany. Germany's plan for the war, known as the Schlieffen Plan, called, needed, relied upon, called for a quick victory over France before turning to Russia. To do this, they needed to pass through neutral Belgium. When Belgium refused, denied, vetoed, blocked, when they refused to allow German troops to pass through its territory, Germany declared war on Belgium and invaded. So the UK, the United Kingdom, was a leading Allied power during the First World War. They fought, battled, met, assaulted against the Central Powers, mainly Germany. The armed forces were greatly expanded. They grew, enlarged, increased in size, and reorganized. So they adapted, they adjusted, amended, modernized, remodeled, developed. And the war marked, recorded, noted the founding of the Royal Air Force, the RAF. So the German invasion of Belgium angered, annoyed, riled, infuriated the British government, who had a defense agreement with Belgium. As a result, Britain declared war on Germany on August the 4th, 1914. So the terrible casualties sustained or suffered in open warfare meant that trench warfare was introduced, started, began, was initiated, commenced very quickly. Trenches provided, trenches gave, supplied a very efficient way for soldiers to protect themselves against heavy firepower. The Central Powers, led by Germany, Austria, Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, fought against the Allies, led by France, Russia, and the United Kingdom. The war quickly spread, extended, grew, increased in size and in scope across Europe as countries who were part of the Triple Entente, France, Russia, and Britain, and the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, entered the war, joined the war, commenced the war, commenced fighting in the war. Now, before the war, most women stayed at home, remained at home, continued at home, or worked in domestic service. Then, as increasing numbers of men went off to fight, women had to take over their jobs. In 1915, Italy joined the war, joined the war on the side of the Allies, and Bulgaria joined on the side of the Central Powers, aligned with the Central Powers. Italy, which had previously been an ally of Germany, and Austria-Hungary switched sides due to territorial disputes and a secret treaty with the Allies. Bulgaria, which had previously been neutral, joined the war, aligned with, on the side of the Central Powers in an attempt to gain territory in the Balkans. So Italy joined the war in April 1915, and by the end of the war, it was estimated that 600,000 Italians died in combat, and more than 1 million were wounded, damaged, disabled, hurt, or crippled. Again, disabled, broken, deformed, handicapped, paralyzed. The battles of Verdun, and the Somme. In 1916, the Battle of Verdun and the Battle of the Somme were fought. Both resulted, both culminated, both produced, both concluded with high casualties. The Battle of Verdun was fought between Germany and France and was one of the longest and bloodiest battles of the war. The Battle of the Somme was fought between the British and German armies and resulted in over 1 million casualties. Both battles were characterized, described, defined, expressed, illustrated, revealed by trench warfare and resulted in stalemate on the Western Front. By the end of the first day alone, on 1st of July 1916, British forces had suffered 57,470 casualties, of whom 19,240 were killed. In 1917, the United States entered the war, joined the war, commenced the war on the side of the Allies. This was a major turning point in the war, as the US brought, delivered, carried, supplied much needed, much required resources and manpower to the fight. President Woodrow Wilson declared war on Germany on April 6, 1917, after the German government resumed unrestricted, uncontrolled, unsupervised submarine warfare, and the Zimmermann telegram was intercepted by the British. So when we talk about resumed, we're saying restarted, recommenced, began again. In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson said, announced, declared, told that the United States must remain neutral in World War I. 11 weeks later, he requested, he asked for, he demanded, he appealed, he requisitioned a declaration of war against Germany. In 1918, the Allies they began a series of offensives that weakened the Central Powers and led to their eventual surrender. The Spring Offensive, launched by Germany in March 1918, was met with fierce resistance by the Allies and ultimately failed, collapsed, disintegrated. And in July 1918, the Allies launched the Second Battle of the Marne, which highlighted the turning point of the war in favor of the Allies. So the First Battle of the Marne marked the end of the German sweep into France, clarified, underlined, highlighted. And the Second Battle of the Marne marked the turning point of the war itself. So the Central Powers facing defeat began to collapse, started to collapse, commenced, initiated. On October the 30th, 1918, Austria-Hungary signed, agreed, endorsed, wrote an armistice with the Allies, effectively ending their participation in the war. On November the 3rd, 1918, Germany asked for, petitioned, applied for an armistice. The First Global War, World War I, also helped, aided, assisted, supported to spread one of the world's deadliest global pandemics, the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, which killed an estimated 20 to 50 million people worldwide. On November the 11th, 1918, an armistice was signed between the Allies and the Central Powers, effectively ending the war. The armistice went into effect at 11 a.m. on November the 11th, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day, and marked the end of the hostilities of World War I. The terms of the armistice were harsh and imposed, required, sanctioned, compelled, demanded, ordered, dictated, exacted, invoked heavy penalties on Germany, including large territorial losses and heavy reparations. World War I has also been referred to as the first modern war. Many of the technologies now associated with military conflict, machine guns, tanks, aerial combat, and radio communications, were introduced on a massive scale during World War I. The total number of military and civilian casualties in World War I totaled around, resulted in 40 million. There were 20 million deaths and 21 million wounded. The total number of deaths included 9.7 million military personnel and about 10 million civilians. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. As ever, don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like a free demo, we're on WhatsApp 321-311-8620. Bye for now.